Greetings. I would like to welcome all of you to the third episode of Power BI Desktop for Busy Students. For this episode, we're going to look at how we can prepare data for use in Power BI Desktop. In the last episode, we have seen using Microsoft Excel, we have been able to import the data into Power BI. If you look very carefully in the Power BI Desktop application that I have over here, if you look at the data that we have, we can notice that sometimes when you import the data into Power BI, the data will not be formatted in the value that you want to use in your system. A very good example would be the time that you see over here. If you can notice, time is displayed as a number. But in the Excel sheet, we can notice the time is actually a time data type. If you click over here, you can notice you can actually change the data type of any of the attributes that you have imported. Over here, I'm going to change from the decimal number into the time. When I change it to the time, you can notice when you change the data type, it is going to warn you that there might be certain things that can happen when you change the format. Over here, we do not have to worry because once we change it, you can see that it will save the time that the person has spent in the exam from our data set. So this is going to be correct example of converting the data type. However, we had one additional problem in the data that we have imported. If you look very carefully in the right side, this is the total score of each of the students. Unfortunately, all of the scores is the raw score. Maybe you're going to want to have the percentage of how much the student has got in the exam. This exam has a total of 25 marks. So in this case, you may want to add an additional column that will contain the percentage. Now this could be done in Excel. You can go back to Excel and calculate it in Excel if you like, but you can also create new columns and use what we call is DAX or data analysis expression that can be used to do calculation with the data you have. If you want to know more about DAX, I have provided links to the documentation for the DAX reference. It's going to be very similar to how you write formulas in Excel. So right now I'm going to have the total. Then I'm going to have another column, which is the percentage. You can notice that if you go to data, okay, we go to data, you can notice that we can create a new column with a DAX expression. When we have the new column, we have to give the name at the left side. So over here, I will write down percentage from the exam would be equal. And this table that I have imported is called data. Since the table is called data, you can select which field I want to use. The field that I want to use is called total, which contains my score. I'll put data, table, total, field, and I would divide it by 25, which is the full marks. When you're done, you can press enter. And when you have pressed enter, you can notice the new column has the formula that you have calculated, updated inside it. The problem, as you can see over here, is that Power BI does not know what format you want for the calculation. Over here for percentage, over here for the percentage, I'm going to change to the column 2s over here. And we're going to notice you want to change this from a normal decimal number into percentile, so that it would be easier for people to understand. I don't want to have 2 digits after the period, so I can change how many digits after the period. I would change from 2 down to 0. Once we're done over here, we can notice we have already prepared the data that we're going to use for a visualization in Power BI. This would be a good time to save your file. You can give it a name exam results, Power BI file, and save it in a folder that you can remember. Once you have finished this process, we are going to be ready to start to visualize with the data we have. This is going to be covered in the next episode. For this episode, we have covered everything we need to know for preparing data to use in Power BI. Thank you for your time and see you in the next episode.